Playoff football tonight on the Rev Game of the Week. I'm Jeff Porsche, and I'll be joined by Patrick Email tonight. And tonight we are at Griffin Field on the campus of Dutchtown High School in Geismar for the Division I non-select by-district round between the 26 seed South Lafourche Fighting Tarpons and the number 7 seed Dutchtown Griffins. When we come back, we'll get you set up for tonight's game and have the opening kick at 7. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation for their support of our sports medicine program.
Welcome back to the Rev Game of the Week. South Lafourche versus Dutchtown coming up in about 20 minutes, so stay tuned for that. But before we set up for tonight's game, we want to take a look at what happened last night at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette as a historic night took place for the Dutchtown volleyball team. So let's take a look at that.
I'm relieved, I'm excited, I'm happy for the girls. Like we've been here knocking on the door for 4 straight years with the senior group, and for them to get through it was just unbelievable. I'm so excited. Let's go! We started passing better in the 4th and the 5th sets in serve receive, and we were able to get on the net and do the things that we normally do with our hitters, and I think that made the difference. We're really excited, but we're not done yet. Like our goal this year is to take 2 steps. Like we took this 1 step getting to the semifinals. Now we want to take that next step to get to the finals. And I told them I'm not coming home without a trophy from Lafayette, so we better bring a trophy home some kind of way, or I'm stealing somebody's trophy. 1 out of the 2. So we're going to try our best. Montgomery's going to be a great test. We haven't played them in, like 15 or 16 years. She's doing a great job with the team. I'm happy for the opportunity to play another day.
It feels amazing because since my freshman year, we've only ever made it to the quarterfinals, and this is the first time that we've made it to the semis in my high school career, so it feels pretty good. Like, we feel confident. We know we can beat any team that we're up against, but we know that it's going to be a tougher opponent than it was tonight, and we need to prepare ourselves better.
So a great night last night for Dutchtown volleyball, and you see in the playoffs this season in the by-district round, they beat Covington in 3 by 22, 7, and 18. Then they played Central Lafourche and won 13, 12, and 7, and that took us to the quarterfinals last night, which they won over Chappelle 25-27, 25-20, 27-29, 25-14, and won the final set 15-8. Unfortunately, though, in the last hour, they were eliminated by the 2 seed Mount Carmel. So Dutchtown season is over. They made it to the semifinals for the 2nd time in school history. They lost today 25-21, 25-21, and 25-16. But congratulations to Coach Ricks. He did an amazing job. And you can see in the quarterfinal round they were down 2-1 and still came back and won. So a great season for them. Unfortunately, it ended about an hour ago, and we're still proud of the team and all their accomplishments this year. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to look at the notebooks and all the stuff for tonight's game. We'll take the break right now. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
REV Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore, all to connect your business with the world. REV is about big business technology with small business personal service.
For a limited time, get up to $300 off business services. Call or visit us today at letsrev.biz.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins!
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, forget about X's and O's. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics. Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete change-out and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no-obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Welcome back. The Rev Game of the Week, Division I non-select by-district round, 26 seed South Lafourche versus the 7 seed Dutchtown. I'm Jeff Porsche, and in a moment I'm going to be joined by Coach Patrick Email, and we're going to talk about everything. But first, let's kind of set the table for tonight's broadcast between these two teams. And you have, of course, tonight here at Griffin Field. For the notebook, let's look at the seedings. This year they are the 7th seed, Dutchtown that is, and they were the number 1 seed in 2010. That was their highest seeding ever. All-time playoff record, 14-18 overall at Griffin Field. They have a winning record, 9-7, maybe good news for tonight. And away, they are 5-11. Playoff streaks. Dutchtown only missed in 2016, 19 out of 20 years, so that's a 95% success rate right there. Their last home playoff win, they won last year against Parkway, and their last playoff win is the same thing, the win over Parkway last season. Their first playoff game in 2004 in the by-district round, which is the round we're in right now. They're 8-3 overall. Their deepest playoff run, they have made it to the quarterfinals 3 times in 2007, 2010, and 2013. So Dutchtown trying to make it to the second round for the second season in a row. And let's go ahead and look at the coaches for tonight's game. You got B.J. Young, who is a familiar name to some around here. He spent some time at East Ascension. He's in his 4th year. He's 13-20 overall, and it's his 2nd year in the playoffs. He is looking for his first playoff win as a head coach. Guy Mistretta, he's won some playoff games. He's 3-6 overall, looking for his 4th playoff win, and he's 46-26 overall, and this is year 6 in the postseason for Guy Mistretta. No history between these two teams, at least in football. This is their first all-time meeting. And at South Lafourche, they come from District 7 4A, and Dutchtown from District 5 5A. And so when we look at what we have to look forward to in Ascension Parish, I'm going to be joined now by the coach, Patrick Email, and our game, the bottom one right there, South Lafourche at Dutchtown, our Rev game of the week. And we have the other Rev game of the week that you can catch on Rev later during the week. Ouachita taking on Santa Ma over at the pit. Jimmy Frederick and David Swacker are going to handle that matchup right there. So you have two very high seeds in Ascension Parish, the 5 seed Santa Ma and the 7 seed Dutchtown. Both of them, if they win, have a good chance of hosting a playoff game next week.
Jeff, Santa Ma with a big win last week, come behind from Walker. That was last week.
Yeah.
That gave them a share of the district title, which enabled Dutchtown to have a share of the district title.
Right.
With beating EA last week, it was a 3-way with Walker. Because if Santa Ma doesn't come back, scored a couple touchdowns in the last couple minutes, it was pretty exciting just to listen to the players, tune into the broadcast and listen to that. So in the playoffs, Jeff, it's all about matchups.
Yep.
And you and I have talked about that and feel like, for Dutchtown, their matchup, you always look and you want to play it play by play, a game by game, I should say, but you always kind of look and who you got down the road. And so no Destrehan this week, like in previous years that we've run into them in week 1 or week 2. And that's no disrespect to South Lafourche, but South Lafourche is, Destrehan number 1 seed, top 4 seed.
They were number 3 in the state and defending state champions, absolutely.
And so now Santa Ma, you talked about District 2-5A. Ouachita lost that quarterback early in the season, been playing a freshman quarterback, and so they're trying to get better. So hopefully Santa Ma will play their best game and get a win.
So you see on the far side of the field, South Lafourche running through their, fire extinguishers, you could say. A nice little entrance by them. And we want to welcome everybody who is watching down the Bayou and Bayou Lafourche, as South Lafourche is part of the Rev footprint, as you see Dutchtown coming through, and they are ready to take the field wearing their all black tonight. But again, getting back to South Lafourche, welcome everybody from down the Bayou, as they are part of Rev, and so they can watch this both on YouTube tonight, and they can catch it on Rev later on during the week on the replays. And I spent a lot of time working there in the past down at the cable system down there when they were known as Calais Cable before they were part of Rev. So I'd like to welcome them. But right now we're going to get the pregame ceremonies with the invocations, the national anthem, and the alma mater.
Invocation will be brought to us by Miss Edie Bourgeois, a sophomore here at Dutchtown High School and a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and the ability to gather here together. I ask that your presence be with the players on the field, guiding and protecting them as they play. May this game be an opportunity to glorify your name. God, I ask that you help everyone here tonight show gratitude and humility in all circumstances. I ask that you help the players know that their true worth comes from you and you alone. Father, I pray that you protect all participants, officials, and spectators through the night, so that we may get home safely. I pray that we can just shine your light anywhere we go, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in support of Veterans Day weekend, we'd like to show our support for all veterans by having everyone sing the national anthem along with the Dutchtown Sound playing it. So please join the Griffin girls, cheerleaders, and big brothers as they sing loud and proud. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem in Dutchtown alma mater, brought to you by the Dutchtown Sound.
with the Dutchtown Sound led by Sheely Bell. And we're going to take this moment to congratulate the Dutchtown Sound for their performance last week. They won first place overall grand champions at the Louisiana Showcase of Marching Bands State Championship. And you want to know how they did last week? Well, first place color guard, first place percussion, first place drum major, first place soloist, overall first place band, and overall first place color guard. So they didn't get it by the skin of their teeth. They were the overwhelming best band in the state at that tournament. And Sheely Bell, with the career she's had over 50 years in Ascension Parish, it's an honor that's been long overdue and well deserved.
First place bus driver, first place rider truck. Congratulations to the grand champion.
We'll be in the middle tonight. Y'all got any problems, you come see us, right? Talk to us. Keep your business on your side and come talk to us if you got any problems, right? All right, you guys are the visitors. You get to call a toss. I got heads right here on this side. The other side is tails. What do you want to call? Tails. He said tails. All right, I'm going to flip it, let it drop. Tails is the call. It is heads. Your option.
For the second half.
You're going to defer to the second half? Yes, you're going to want to kick. You're going to get the ball, right? You're going to get the ball. You're going to kick for the clock?
Yes, sir.
All right, line up right there. You guys come over.
So it looks like Dutchtown has won the toss, and they will defer, and so that means that we're going to start with South Lafourche on offense. So let's take a look at the offensive starters for South Lafourche High School, and they are led at quarterback by number 10, Carson Ogeron, running back Landon Dardar, 21, and then the receivers, Landon Jarvis, Titan Alamo, Terrence Petrie, and Camden Berg. Offensive line, Bo Georges, Mason Alamo, Carter Calais, Sawyer Wells, and Aiden Bruce. And on defense for Dutchtown to start this game, we're going to have on the line Zion Tremont, Diego Spears, and Josh Lewis. Linebackers, Blake Bowie, Mason Miles, Brennan Baker, and Carter Hanberry. Cornerbacks, Riker Rogers, Nathan Riley. And then the safeties, Jeremy Jackson and Caden Mackey. And, Coach, we are now ready for playoff football, South Lafourche versus Dutchtown.
Jeff, I'm looking at it. Bo Bourgeois, the left tackle for South Lafourche, a freshman. The center, Carter Calais, a freshman. Right guard, Sawyer Wells, a sophomore. Ooh.
They have a very young team. They got some senior leadership as well, but they have a lot of youth, and they have a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and they got a lot of seniors. So there are some potential holes in that offense that Dutchtown's defense, led by Chris Harrell, could exploit here tonight as we get the opening kickoff. And it's going to go out of bounds, or no, it doesn't. Now it does eventually. Was it touched beforehand? They may have got their hands on it, and so it's going to be first down at the 20. They caught a break there. They like to do that pooch kick to the corner about 30 yards upfield, but that one looked kind of awkward.
I thought Mike Mathern was going to be kicking off, but that wasn't Mike Mathern kicking off for the Griffins.
That was Cardona.
But definitely a break. That ball came close to going out of bounds, Jeff. That's a 20-yard difference in field position. And South Lafourche, you're talking about the young guys, and as we go along, you can explain to our audience about we playing a 4A team and a 5A first-round playoff game.
Right. There are no like 5A. Of course, it's now called Division I Select and Non-Select. As we are ready to go, and the quarterback Ogeron, he's going to give it right up the middle to Dardar, and he's going to get about 3 yards on first down. So it's going to bring up second and about 7. But as we said, South Lafourche is in District 7 4A. They play in the 4A district down in Terrebonne and Lafourche, and with Lutcher and some of the other schools, as there's some motion and then there's a flag. But to finish the thought, South Lafourche is in with Morgan City, Vanderbilt Catholic, South Terrebonne, Ellender, Assumption, and Lutcher. So they play in the 4A district and not in the 5A district down there with teams like Destrehan and Terrebonne and Hahnville. And so you get the flag, and it's going to be penalty against Dutchtown.
Dutchtown jumped offside, Jeff. It was kind of a muddle huddle.
Yeah.
And when they turned around, they did the whirly bird right there, which is a little different than what Dallas used to do 45 years ago.
And there's a pass, and it's caught at midfield, and a first down for the Tarpons. Camden Berg with the reception off the seams right there.
Nice release by the quarterback, Ogeron, the senior. Had a lot of confidence in his O-line with those young guys up front.
So a big gain, and here comes the Tarpons moving with a first down very early in this game. No score, 1 minute in.
It's interesting formations by South Lafourche right here. The third receiver in, there's 2 men on the line of scrimmage, so he's ineligible. So as expected, a run.
Yeah, Ogeron is going to be strung out, and Blake Bowie wraps him up after a gain of a couple. So good job by Bowie, and it's second down.
Ogeron on the quarterback keeper.
So 2 yards, and you have
from the 36.
2nd and 8. That's a nice tackle by Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie ran out with the flag on Veterans Day. Happy veterans to all the veterans, Jeff. Nice ceremony today at Dutchtown High.
So lots of motion in this offense. 2nd down and 8. And a pass complete. Close to another first down. It'll depend on the spot. Number 11, Landon Jarvis, makes the catch. And it looks like they're going to be spotted about 1 yard shy inside the 40-yard line. They got to get a little bit past the 39, not quite to the 38 for a first down.
Landon Jarvis, one of those young guys, a sophomore, wide receiver.
And so they go tight right here with one receiver right, and there's Dardar waiting, and that's going to be close. Bowie stood him up. It's going to depend on the spot. He might have got about a foot. I think he needed about a yard.
The guy on this side marked as short. The other guy looked like he was short too. He didn't move very much.
Yeah, he got about a foot, I think. So it's going to be 4th and about 2 feet for a first down. I would expect South Lafourche to go for it right here.
You're talking about the difference in the seedings, Jeff. I mean, South Lafourche.
The tush push and a first down easily for South Lafourche.
Dutchtown's defense has been excellent so far, and for South Lafourche to lose 20 yards basically on a kickoff by touching before it goes out of bounds, they've turned around and gained 40 yards, 45 yards already on this drive.
They're down to the 35. They have looked very impressive on this opening drive, not afraid. 19 seeds lower than Dutchtown, but they are playing aggressive right now. And now the quarterback's just going to get rid of that. And Ogeron had nobody out there, and I think the pressure came from Bowie and a couple of other Griffin defenders. They're not going to call grounding or anything like that, so it's second down.
Dutchtown kind of leaves that slot area open, and so they were trying to run a back out if they can run the cornerback off, but he wasn't open.
And here's Dardar in a pitch and the flea flicker, and they're trying to go to the end zone and wide open and overthrown. Terrence Petrie had it at about the 8, but the pass was just a little high, and they had them fooled on the trickery right there.
The Dutchtown secondary was beat. Took a little bit of time to get rid of it, maybe to grip the strings and enabled Dutchtown to recover, and then South Lafourche's wide receiver really misjudged.
Yeah.
Because if he kept running, maybe he had an opportunity. So a break for Dutchtown. That South Lafourche trying to go for the home run early.
See Carter Hanberry in the shot right there. Looking for a play from him at some point tonight as quarterback is under pressure. And he's going down. And that is Brennan Baker, number 9, with the sack, and it's going to be 4th and about 20. So that's a punting situation for the Tarpons.
Dutchtown had, I call it their sprint package. They had Brandon Smith in there at defensive end on 3rd and long. And Coach Harrell call up the heat.
And they're going to go for it. Look at this, no punt.
They're going to
punt that's a quick kick. That's nice. Some hang time, and but it takes a Dutchtown bounce, so it's going to go to about the 20. So both teams are going to start at their own 20, and we're going to go to the Dutchtown offensive starters right now before we get to the first play. Ethan Oakwind, their quarterback, number 12. And in the backfield, you're going to get Gary Dukes, and he's going to be spelled by LaKeedron Harvey. Logan Mayu and Tyler Adams are the receivers. Dylan DeSherry at tight end. Landon Hedden, Aiden Gaho, Chase Cangelosi, Dawson Davis, Taylor Graham on the offensive line. It's 1st and 10. We'll get to the defensive starters after this play. So shotgun coming from Oakwind. And Harvey is in the backfield on 1st down, and it's an option keeper for about 4, and it's 2nd down. Defensive starters for South Lafourche, led by defensive coordinator Bryce Guidry. You have Tyler Otan, Kate Nelson, and Miles Stelter on the line. Then you got Max Vidros, Abram Berg, Colby Price at linebackers, and then 5 DBs, Dre Hughes, Landon Jarvis, Carson Ogeron, Tyrese Edwards, and Maddox Commerdale. And now it's 2nd and 6 for Dutchtown. Movement, don't see a flag. Here's Harvey. Cuts outside, and a flag comes down. And it looked like South Lafourche jumped, but it may decline this if that's the call because it's a 1st down on the carry.
It's probably going to be a holding on the edge, Jeff. If I had to guess, Dutchtown's kind of walking back.
Let's see.
The way the referee threw it, kind of in the meat of the line right there. Got to give a shout out to LaKeedron. LaKeedron came by, said, "Coach, you on the call?" And I said, "Yeah, Mr. Porsche and I." He says, "I'm going to be listening after the game on the replay." So I told him I'd give him a shout out. So there you go, LaKeedron. Bright and early.
Negated by the hold, like you said. Good eyes right there. I thought that was kind of late for the offsides. There was a jump, but I think he got back in time for the snap. I think that was number 20 that may have jumped on the defensive line for South Lafourche, Haven Green. So now it's 2nd down and 16, and you see more movement, and this time you're going to get the flag.
Dutchtown get a free. First play, Jeff, Ethan doesn't always pull it early in the game, but he pulled it right there, and I didn't think he was going to get much, and he got 4 and put him in a decent spot, and then we get free 5 yards. And the first thing I noticed about the Tarpons, Jeff, is I looked at their roster, and when I went to print it, it was easily on one page, about 60, 63 players or so. Carson Ogeron starting at safety for him.
And he's a two-way player. As a shotgun and a quick pass caught, and that's Mayo who had to hit the ground to catch it. It was a little bit behind him, and so that keeps him from getting a 1st down, but it gets about 6 or 7 on the reception. It's going to be 3rd down and 5.
We have talked about it all season. Ethan has the ability, well, I don't know his true arm strength, but he threw it from the other hash outside the numbers.
Yeah, they like to throw those long passes that don't go very far horizontally or vertically. That is, excuse me. They're horizontal passes, but they are effective. And now you're going to go deep to Tyler Adams, and it is off the helmet of the DB, incomplete, and no flag. Good coverage by Jacobs Prosen for South Lafourche. And look at the replay, off the helmet.
He's not a starter. At least he's not listed as a starter on our sheet.
Yes. But he kept up with Tyler Adams, who is maybe the fastest receiver on the Dutchtown squad. And now Casey McCoy is going to come into punt. With 5:46 left to go in the first quarter, and now we have a whistle. Sorting that out.
South Lafourche called timeout?
Yeah, it looks that way. We're going to keep it here. And why don't we take a look at the non-select seeds from 5, 5A, Dutchtown's district. And you have the three-way tie for the district title between Santa Maud, Dutchtown, and Walker. And they are all seated in the top 10. You see right there, Santa Maud 5, Dutchtown 7, Walker 9. And then for the non-select in 4A, you got South Lafourche at 26. Now, most of the teams in that district play in Division 2, like we were talking about. It's a 4A district. So you have Assumption at 3 and Lutcher at 4. So they're very highly regarded in the Division 2 ranks. And then you got non-select Vanderbilt Catholic, who is 13. So it's a strong 4A district, but really the teams that play in the Division 1 side of it aren't as strong as maybe the Assumptions and Lutchers, but they still have some good teams.
Well, Lutcher, if my memory serves me correctly, aren't they the defending state champion?
I think so.
And got beat last week by Assumption.
Yeah.
So Assumption won that district last week.
And that's a line drive, but it's going to be effective as it takes it's more like a rugby kick, I guess you would say.
And that is almost the polar opposite of what Case McCoy did last week. You were in the press box, you saw it.
Yeah.
Probably his best punt of the year, 50-plus yard high, one of them turnover punts.
Yep.
But either way.
It does its job as it goes down to the 36. So neither team scores on their opening possession, Coach.
South Lafourche gained 16 yards on that, both teams having a possession.
And now Carson Ogeron, who may be a little tired before the end of the night, playing both ways at safety and at quarterback. He's out the shotgun. And it's going to go to Dardar up the middle, and he kind of slithers his way through.
Tackled by Carter Hanbury.
Yep, he's down at the bottom of that pile. He had a game last week.
Yeah,
he had the 2 touchdowns on offense, a pick 6 on defense, and a block punt.
That'll be for the record books right there. He'll watch that highlight film, and when he's 55, he'll show his grandkids.
Second down, pressure, drop. And that is Mason Miles, I believe, with a sack from his middle linebacker position. So both the middle linebackers, Mason Miles and Brendan Baker, come up with sacks for the Griffins.
Very active.
45, Mason Miles on the sack.
Coach Harold's been calling it a long time.
You brought this up, Coach. The pressure came right up the middle, and that's where you have the freshman and the sophomore on that line. And Miles is a junior, Baker's a senior, and so experience wins out right there.
Yeah. 3rd and long, Jeff. That's why they got the speed package in it, and here they come again.
Ogeron pressure, throws deep, out of bounds. Not a chance right there. His intended receiver, Titan Alamon, number 1. So a very impressive 3-and-out for the Dutchtown defense.
Well, that's a tough ask of Ogeron to roll out to his left under pressure. The Dutchtown just taking off sprinting. Great angles of pursuit. Got all the alleys filled. He can't even turn his shoulders because if he takes that time, he knows he's going to get sacked, throws it out of bounds.
And now the punt coming for South Lafourche. This is a traditional punt, pressure. And it's taken for a fair catch by number 7, Nathan Riley. And so Dutchtown gets better field position. Both teams start with better field position than they did on their opening drives. Both of them starting there in the high 30s right here. Their first drives started at 20s, or at the 20. So both of them, this is kind of a carbon copy of what we've seen so far.
I tell you what was almost a carbon copy is they got after that punter. And last week, while there was some bad snaps by EA that led to some of that success on special teams, Dutchtown was right there. And it was like a quick punt by number 41 to be able to get that off.
Yeah, that's
good
Nick
job.
Coleman.
Nick Coleman.
Good eyes right there, Coach. 1st and 10. And Harvey, they're going to stretch it out, breaks the tackle, and close to a first down. I think he's got it to midfield. Gain of 12 and a first down for the Griffins.
Little buck sweep out of the gun, Jeff. They hand it. You can see it right coming at you. There's the kick. 76 is the wrap. And Dutchtown gains 11 to 12 yards.
We are going to see a lot of Lakedron Harvey tonight. You have Gary Dukes available, but he's got a shoulder injury, and so they're hoping that they don't need him. He is available, but they really don't want to play him if they don't need to. And so they're hoping to get him some early scores so they can keep him on the bench. 1st and 10, and in the seam caught. Nice sliding catch there by Mayo. He's become a really dependable receiver.
Yeah, that's right up the seam. If that ball is thrown traditionally where you would think you would probably throw it in practice, you lead him in, that ball may be picked. It's a little short. He had to go down to it. The free safety was not able to get over to it.
1st and 10 for the Griffins at the 35. Shotgun. Pressure, and he gets rid of it before he's dropped by number 6, Max Vidros. And so it's going to be 2nd and 10. And I know you hate that as a defensive coordinator, Coach. You make a good play, and they get rid of the ball, and it's an incomplete pass.
You're right. You and I talked. I don't hate that one as much because Lakedron was right there. The ball was only a few yards short of him. It's the one when you're running out of bounds and you just toss it is the one that really gets me going.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 35. 2:56 left to go. No score. South Lafourche and Dutchtown. Harvey, patience, gets 5. Probably got 3 extra yards by just waiting patiently for the hole to develop, Coach, as we look at the replay. Has a step back, cuts it outside off the left tackle. They're going to say 4, so it's 3rd and 6, possibly a 2-down situation for the Griffins.
I'm looking for more players that are playing both ways. I don't see Ogeron on the field. I mean, he may be in the safety up top up there. No, that's not him. They must be giving him a break this series.
And a flag and looks like a false start going to be called against Dutchtown. And so that's a 2nd penalty of the night on offense for Dutchtown. And that first one, the hold kind of put them behind the 8 ball, and this puts them at 3rd and 11.
Could be 4-down territory. Maybe look for a run right here out of the buck sweep from Harvey and pick up 5 or 6, and then you go for it.
So there's the Sherry in motion. Low snap. Harvey left. Oh, he's got lots of room. Waiting for blockers. He does. 15, 10, 5, and he takes that extra gear into the end zone for the touchdown.
Buck sweep around left side. Lakedron Harvey, a shout out.
And if he keeps doing that, they may be able to keep Gary Dukes on the bench here tonight, as it makes it 6-0 with the extra point on the way.
Lakedron Harvey, a trackster. He's a danger to take it to the house. He's gotten several long runs.
Yes. And the extra point from Mathern is good, and it's 7-0. We're going to break. Dutchtown 7, South Lafourche 0. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing, GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation for their support of our sports medicine program.
7-0 on the touchdown run by Lakedron Harvey, and Dutchtown takes the lead. History of Dutchtown football, only 2 coaches, Benny Saya and Guy Mastretta, and you see both of them have gotten these teams to the playoffs every year but one, and so that's very successful. Benny Saya 11-12 overall, Guy Mastretta trying to get to 4-6, 14-18 overall in their careers.
Here's a fun fact for you, Jeff.
Yep.
I know you don't know this. You may not know this. The last playoff game that we played against the 4A team, Dutchtown.
That would be in the first season, wouldn't it be?
That would be in the first season.
And they're going to
That would be
they're going to take that at the 16-yard line.
That would be a loss to Bastrop up there. And that was Bastrop was rolling back then, had some really good football teams, and we went up there and had to go up there again the next year to play West Monroe in the playoffs.
That's some tough teams to play. South Lafourche, this isn't the first time we've seen South Lafourche in the playoffs this season, or this calendar year. They played in the first round of the basketball playoffs against Sanamaw, and we covered that game, and it was a victory by Sanamaw. So actually, this is the second South Lafourche playoff game that we have covered in 2023. So that's kind of a little interesting fact for you.
So they playing all sports. Some teams play just football.
Yeah.
But they're playing up in all of them.
And they got a nice gain from Dardar on first down. And just to kind of let you know how that works, we talked about some 4A teams are playing in Division I. Probably the most notable is the 2-seed Neville. They're a 4A school. South Lafourche and South Terrebonne, both in that 7 4A district, are both part of that. Belle Chase is another team that's like that. I believe Westgate out of New Iberia is like that. So there's several teams as it's 2nd and 3. And trying to pitch, but Diego Spears, no way.
Diego hasn't skipped a beat, as one former Baton Rouge coach would say. He's a little nicked, but continues to play well. One of the top 3 performers score point-wise when it comes to the defensive scoring or rating, the breakdown of the point system that they use for tackles, assists, tackles for loss, fumbles, etc.
Sanamaw takes the lead over Ouachita, 7-0 in the first. Shotgun. Ogeron under pressure, setting up the screen, and had a blocker in front of him, kind of keeping his progress from getting a first down. So kind of a tough break right there for South Lafourche, because it was well designed. You see the catch right there by Dardar, and the blocker trying to get through Brennan Baker, but Brennan Baker just stood still, and it kind of blew up the play right there.
Yeah, well, Brennan Baker kind of is taking on a block right there, and the running back catches it and turns around and almost runs into his own guy and gives Dutchtown enough time to rally to it, stop him short of a first down. Good play call.
Absolutely.
Especially with the pressure.
First quarter over, 7-0 our score. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
This baby will get your heart racing as much as your slick new devices do. Switch to REV. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev. Internet speed so fast, you're gonna need seatbelts for your sofa. Switch to REV. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev.
Second quarter about to begin. Jeff Porsche, Patrick Email with you. South Lafourche trails Dutchtown 7-0. And you were bringing up right there, nice play by Brennan Baker with the holding up the blocker who was trying to escort Dardar downfield.
You know, screen is one of the, you're watching on Sunday, and back in St. Sean Payton's heyday, it was one of the most successful plays for him. But all it takes is one defensive guy to kind of hang out where the offense really don't want him to hang out.
They're going to go for it perhaps, or maybe we see the quick kick right here. 4th and 3 and movement. They're going to get the first down as the big guy Josh Lewis was ready to burst through on the blitz, and they got him.
Size against the Griffins gives the Tarpons the first down.
That's a free first
At
down.
the 30-yard line.
Penalties have hurt Dutchtown here so far. I believe that's the 4th penalty of the game. 2 offsides, and you had the 2 offensive penalties. Well, the 1 offensive penalty, the false start, they were able to recover and get the touchdown on the next play by Harvey, but Dutchtown committing several penalties.
I wish he wouldn't have jumped. besides not getting a penalty, I would have been curious of what their plan was.
Yeah.
Because
I think they would have probably you would assume they would have probably done the quick kick right there, maybe run the clock and call a timeout if they don't bite. Yeah. They're trying to get to Terrence Petrie on that pass right there, but that fell incomplete.
Yeah.
2nd and 10.
Your plan can't be to quick punt it every time. And the thing to be inside your 25-yard line in the second quarter, only down 7-0.
Well, they have a good offensive coach. He's as the pass is complete. But you have the good offensive coach right there as B.J. Young is the offensive coordinator. And as we talked about earlier, he knows Dutchtown as he has coached over at East Ascension. So he's been part of the East Ascension-Dutchtown rivalry in the past. So he knows this area.
Yeah, well, if he watched his old team, East Ascension, throw that out route like they did just now, they got taken to the house last week against East Carter Hanbury, and he was pretty close.
Yep. The pass
batted
off
ball
the hands of Dardar, and it's 4th down. And this is probably a punting situation. Let's look at the replay and see who got his hands on it, perhaps.
Diego.
Yeah.
Nope.
That was Blake Bowie.
Blake Bowie.
And they're going to opt for the punt from Nick Coleman. With 4th and 7, an offsides penalty will not get you the first down, so they're just going to opt for the punt right here, which makes me suspect that was what they were trying to get the offsides all along. And Lathan Riley is back to receive. And it's low, but a good job getting it off. It's a short punt, though. Riley, what are you doing there? Oh, dangerous. As he tries to make a sliding catch in traffic. I guess he was trying to prevent South Lafourche from getting a lucky bounce right there, but that almost gave the Tarpons field position near midfield.
It's not a bad decision, Jeff. You don't want he had to run about 10 yards. Ball didn't travel nearly as far. Dutchtown got really close to it again.
Yeah. But Coleman did a good job of catching the short hop, I guess, if you want to use baseball terminology. And was able to get it off. 11:03, 7-0. Dutchtown with the lead.
Game we watching Ponchatoula and Chalmette. Ponchatoula up 14-7 as
a deep pass, and that's caught. Nice catch by Casey McCoy. 1st and goal for the Griffins. Don't see a lot of vertical from this team, Coach, but the post route worked perfectly right there.
Yeah. Almost 40 yards on the pass play. Ethan right on the money. I mean, I've been watching him. This is game 11, Jeff. 12 if you include Joe. I'll take that back. We didn't play 2 games.
And a fake and cuts outside. He's got a shot to get to the pylon, and he does, and a touchdown. Ethan Oakland.
So that's 8 regular season games and a jamboree, and now in the playoffs. So this is week 10, and Ethan continues to throw the ball in a good spot, make good decisions. Right there, he tucks it, gets in the end zone. Really happy for Ethan.
13-0, and the extra point coming from Mathern. As Sandoval, we hear, now takes a 14-0 lead. Good for them, and it's 14-0 here. 10:27 left to go for the half. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
In the first half, your score, Dutchtown 14, South Lafourche.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing, GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation for their support of our sports medicine program.
14-0, Dutchtown leads South Lafourche. Jeff Porsche and Patrick Email with you. A couple of scores that we were talking about Right now, Santa Maria leads 14-0 after the first quarter at the Pit, and the other game, Ponchatoula versus Chalmette. Ponchatoula 14-7 over Chalmette, and 14-7. And after this kick, we'll talk about what that means to the winner of this game right here. And the kick's taken at the 5, and they're going to try the reverse, and Dutchtown was ready, and there's a late flag, so we'll see where that goes. Ball's at the 12. But to finish the thought about the postseason, the winner of the Dutchtown South Lafourche game will take on the winner of Chalmette versus Ponchatoula. If Dutchtown wins the game, they would host Chalmette if they win. If Ponchatoula and Dutchtown would play, that game would be played at Ponchatoula. If South Lafourche and Chalmette win, South Lafourche would be the host team. If South Lafourche and Ponchatoula win, that game will be played at Ponchatoula.
I'm glad you got all that sorted out there. I didn't even think about it the other way, Jeff.
That game is tied now, 14-14. Thank you, Lyle Boudreaux, for the update.
I'm looking at the Ponchatoula Dutchtown score. That was a 6-0 Dutchtown win early in the season. Really a defensive struggle.
Right. I believe the touchdown was scored maybe on the first play of the fourth quarter. It was definitely a fourth quarter touchdown with a missed extra point. But that was a defensive struggle.
Jeff, that flag was thrown. I looked at it. It was between about 5 South Lafourche players, and I didn't see a Griffin, but it puts Dutchtown half the distance to the goal defensively.
And Ogeron rolls out, overthrown and incomplete. Trying to get it to Petrie. So now a couple of more updates. Santa Maria now up 21-0 over Ouachita. Very successful early start for the Gators. Chalmette and Ponchatoula now tied at 14.
Ouachita playing in that 2-5A district we talked about. Freshman quarterback coming to the Pit. Dwayne Thomasy making a not so memorable trip for him.
And a run right up the middle into the teeth of Dutchtown's defense, and a late flag as there's some jawing down there, I think.
We got a flag.
So let's see what the penalty is, how they're going to assess that.
We'll see if they call us offset or if it goes against Dutchtown.
I think those are the most likely outcomes, and it's going to go against Dutchtown.
Personal foul.
So the personal foul is the call.
That'll be a 15-yard penalty to the 20-yard line.
Ball's going to go to the 20. So the Tarpons get a break, and they get out of the shadows of their own end zone. South Lafourche had a nice opening drive, had a nice completion downfield, had to do a quick kick on 4th down and long, and Dutchtown has answered later in the first quarter with 2 touchdowns of their own. Got the second touchdown at the beginning of the second quarter. And penalties are really hurting Dutchtown right now.
Outside against the Griffins.
Coach Harrow will probably tell you, so I don't think I'm probably speaking out of turn, Jeff. That's focus penalties right there that you got to watch the guy in front of you, and Ogeron must be doing a pretty good job of that hard count, they call it.
Yes. And a handoff to Dardar. He's going to get a couple. And they started with 1st and 5.
Dardar gets a couple.
And so that's going to bring up second down at about 2. So they're going to say 3 yards on the play. And you see coming from behind, Blake Bowie, and then helped out as well by Chaz Smith, number 5.
The Tarpons are running that end over or tackle over. So the second guy was on the line of scrimmage. So it's more than likely a running play. They may be setting something up because the guy playing in the tackle position is eligible.
And second down, trying to get the first down on the ground. He's going to be shy.
No gain. We'll bring up
so, again, that's Landon Dardar. He's a sophomore. He's another one of those young guys on this team. And it's going to be 3rd down, and I don't think they got anything on that. I think it's still 3rd down and 2.
You know, they got Aiden Bruce, the right tackle. He's the end man on the line of scrimmage. When they put that 3rd wide receiver on the line, be serious of whether they flip him and put an eligible receiver right there at some point in time in the ball game.
You got to watch for the hard count right here. Dutchtown does not jump. Pass wide and incomplete. Landon Jarvis, the intended receiver. Now, when they had 4th and short last time, they kept the offense on the field and drew an offsides penalty. Let's see if they're going to try that again. As you see on the replay, the pass. Guy was open, but the pass was just a little bit wide, incomplete.
Pressure.
And so the offense is staying on the field. Let's see if they try the hard count again. Man in motion, 7 on the play clock. Setting up, and they're going to go for it. And the quarterback's going to keep it. He's got blockers ahead of him. Turns the corner, 1st down, South Lafourche.
That's a well-designed play. They had numbers on Dutchtown. They had the edge.
See him turning the corner and good blocking downfield. Nice, well-designed play. So they weren't trying to draw them off sides. They were going to go for it.
Jeff, you're down 14-0. You're playing a 7 seed. They've tried the Whirly Bird offensive lineman. They've run a reverse.
It's 1st and 10. So they have a lot of variety in their offense. I believe he was a play caller back with Darnell Lee back in the day, like we said, at East Ascension. And Dardar up the middle trips and falls after a short game. But this guy, his offense, B.J. Young, there's a lot of variety out there. He's kind of got some young players that may not help out so much, but he's got some imagination.
You got your wide receivers 2 yards from the sideline down here, trying to take the secondary of Dutchtown and get them out of the running lanes. But they got to get number 22 blocked on the edge right there.
Yeah, you see him on the left edge, and he's dropping back into coverage and just missed it. You make a good observation. He was dropping back into coverage right where the ball was thrown, and there's a flag on the far side of the field at the 40-yard line. And this looks like it's going to be called against Dutchtown. As you see the replay, what do you see there, Coach? You see anything?
Yes, I saw what they called. I don't know what they called.
Can we get the replay maybe one more time?
Look in the top right corner of your screen, Jeff.
Yes.
You'll see the DB and the wide receiver kind of get tangled up just as the ball is thrown. So disregard the ball. Look at the top part of your screen.
Okay, it was
not
tough
that
to see. It was
not
tough.
not that angle. It was a different angle.
Yeah, there you go. There's the angle. As the penalty is being assessed against the Griffins.
So look up top at the 40-yard line, right there. Boom.
Yeah,
42-yard
Riley
line.
took down the receiver. So they're going to call the personal foul against the Griffins. And that's 2 personal fouls against Dutchtown on this drive alone. Dutchtown is helping South Lafourche down the field. 1st and 10. Shotgun. Ogeron, play fake. Going left. Nobody there, out of bounds.
Well, he was close to the pocket right there now. I guess maybe they call it.
They have 2nd down and 10.
No, that was a play that happened Sunday, I think, maybe in the Saints game. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a night game when I got home that day. The receiver runs the route, and if the DB is on top of him, he stops and runs a back shoulder to a certain extent. And if the quarterback thinks he's going deep and throws it deep, they call it intentional grounding. So similar to a play like that sometimes.
Got you. 2nd down, man in motion. It's a keeper by Ogeron. Bowie stands him up. Mason Miles helps bring him down after a gain of about 1. 7 minutes left to go in the 2nd quarter. 14-0. Dutchtown leads South Lafourche.
Blake Bowie and Mason Miles on the tackle. 3rd and 9. See if Dutchtown can get themselves off the field right here. A couple 30 yards of this drive.
3 receivers. Trips formation to the right. 1 receiver to the left. Dardar in the backfield. Ogeron at quarterback. And we have a whistle. I think a timeout is being called. As South Lafourche is going to call the timeout, and we're going to keep it here and talk about District 5-5A, the Dutchtown District, the Ascension Livingston District, and you see the 3-way tie. Dutchtown is the only team to share the title 2 years in a row. Last year they split it with East Ascension and Denham Springs. This year they're splitting it with Santa Ma and Walker. East Ascension and Denham Springs this year did not make it to the postseason. So that's a far drop for both of those.
Jeff, I'm trying to look at that district standing right there.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest surprise? Is it the bottom, the top, the middle? I mean,
the biggest surprise is Denham Springs didn't even make the playoffs. They were a quarterfinal team last year. They were the favorites, but then they kind of just didn't do much this season.
Never got on a roll.
Yeah.
Didn't figure things out. I mean, when Dutchtown preseason, a ranking came out. They were number 8, and I texted some of my buddies, 8 ? And didn't realize with the things that Dutchtown lost with the Pyrons and the Agoos and the Fields and the whole works, I never expected Dutchtown to be a 7 seed. And I certainly didn't expect Santa Ma to be a 5 seed.
No. And that's a lateral to Dardar. And he's going to race out of bounds past midfield to the 47. So he's going to get about 5. So it's going to be 3rd down and 4. We've got an update on another game that's important in Ascension Parish. Mandeville and Sam Houston. Mandeville 21, Sam Houston 14 after 1. That game is important because the winner of that game would play the winner of the Santa Ma Washita game. So everybody at the pit curious about that score. And we could have 2 home games next week if here in Ascension Parish if the 2 teams win. We'll let you know more about that as the night goes on. As 3rd down pass caught.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Nice throw though, Jeff.
Yeah, that was well executed, but just could not get the foot in bounds. As that was Petrie, and it was very close.
Yeah, I think if that was the volleyball,
yep,
I think he would have been in because I think his foot was on the line.
Yep. And Dutchtown will take over on downs in good field position, but that was a chance that South Lafourche had to take right there as they trail 14-0, and they got to get some points on the board before halftime because Dutchtown has a very stingy defense.
Well, a 0 in the visitor column is not unusual for a team that Coach Harrell's coached over the last few years.
So O'Quinn and Harvey, they've gone the distance in the backfield. Harvey up the middle, and a good job bringing him down, number 5, Miles Stelter. That's going to bring up 2nd and 9 as we're halfway through the second quarter. Also want to remind you at halftime, we're going to be joined by Dutchtown swimmer Matthew Okonski and his coach, Jared Schexnayder, as they had some competitions very recently that they're going to talk about, and Okonski very successful in those, and their season is going to continue.
Yeah, Jared's talking to you, and that's obviously the son of Coach Shake.
Yep, Chris Schexnayder. And look at that. A little misdirection, but incomplete.
Ooh, I think the referee may have missed a lateral right there and called it incomplete.
It's close. You see go in motion, that's Mayu, and then, yeah, that was close.
That was one of the few mistakes that Ethan's made throwing a non-catchable ball in all season.
It's 3rd and 9.
But his daughter, I think Abby, also helps with the swim team.
Yes, so the Schexnayder family very big, as number 39, Colby Bruce, goes offside, and it's 3rd down and 4 for Dutchtown. So that's kind of unusual. We've seen Dutchtown offsides a lot here tonight. This time, South Lafourche jumps.
Yeah, that must be brothers, 2 Bruces or cousins. I got a friend of mine that's a Bruce from down the bayou. That's got to be all related.
3rd and 4 on the South Lafourche side of the field, and pressure and nearly caught on the deflection, but that went through 2 South Lafourche defenders. That could have been a pick very easily. Dangerous pass. You see the pressure right there. Number 26, Abram Berg, comes right up the middle, and that kind of blew up that play.
Ethan was very smooth. Just kind of sidestepped the pressure that was coming, I think, from Abram Berg up the middle.
Yep.
And then kind of threw a little bit across his body into trouble and got away with it.
Nobody deep for South Lafourche, but not much pressure either. And that one is off the side of his foot and kind of takes a slight Dutchtown bounce. So it doesn't turn out that bad, as it's going to be first down about the 22-yard line for South Lafourche, and they've moved the ball a bit. They got to midfield on their last drive. They got past midfield in the first quarter, but they need a more sustained drive, and they got 4:56 to get some points and close this perhaps down to a 1-score game before halftime.
I think Sanimo's up 28-0 now.
Yes, 28-0 in the first, and that's a shocker because Ouachita has had trouble this year, but there are very few bad teams in that district, as we talked about. And here's a little fake back to the quarterback, going deep and up for grabs. And the closest guy to that ball was the DB. That was Caden Mackey as pass overthrown. But they did the little handoff to Dardar, who tossed it back to Ogeron and then overthrown. They had a flea flicker earlier.
Yeah, they've tried everything. There's that screen again.
Yeah, that one was deflected. That's a good job. That was Josh Lewis. So the screen pass that time blown up on the line. Dardar was downfield, set up. And it's 3rd down and 10. Clock stopped at 4:41. So 14-0 here, 28-0 at the pit, both in favor of the Ascension Parish Schools. And that one is, well, there's a late flag. I don't know that this play may have even started.
The flag is 20 yards down the field. The referee's standing by it over there.
Mackey got his hands on the ball.
I thought Mackey caught it.
Yeah, he did. He got the interception, but I don't know what they're calling.
They threw the flag by Riley, but Riley was 10 yards down the field from the wide receiver.
Well, the official is going to let us know it's going to be assessed against Dutchtown. Defensive holding
against the Griffins.
So it's a first down. So let's look at the replay.
10 yards and a first down for the Tarpons.
Can't quite see it. Just tough to tell right there, as you're getting more rain now here at the field. There's been a mist most of the night, but now it's coming down a little bit harder. It was 70 degrees, and the rain is expected to just increase incrementally over the evening, as on first down they pick up a couple of yards and second down and 8.
Meteorologist Lau Boudreau gave us
70
degrees and 70% chance of rain.
Yep, and that's been pretty accurate so far, as you see people on the home side going for cover. You can see some on the far side as well. And I want to bring up South Lafourche. They brought a great crowd here tonight. They filled the visitor side completely, supporting their Tarpons like they always do. And the deep pass downfield. And that one is intercepted by Mackey. And he's got open space, and that's dangerous. He's going to fake the cutting downfield, and now he goes left down inside the 30. And that's a tough break for South Lafourche as Dutchtown, with 3:34 left to go in the second quarter, has a chance to maybe get some more points.
Well, you watch South Lafourche, and South Lafourche has done several things to try to catch Dutchtown off guard, whether it's a reverse pass, trick play. But one thing they're doing is trying to throw the ball downfield. And Coach Young watched the film last week. East Ascension scored 2 touchdowns, Jeff, and both of them were on long passes. So they're trying to do everything they can to get behind the Dutchtown secondary, and they did earlier in the first one.
Yes.
And it was the receiver stopped running, and it was overthrown. And the flea flicker didn't work.
Now Oakwind's going to give it to Harvey, and tripped after a short gain. Harvey had the long run
It'll be 2nd and 9.
for a touchdown in the first quarter from about 40 yards out. But South Lafourche has done a decent job on defense, keeping him in check otherwise. 2nd and 9. As a keeper by Oakwind, he made the right choice, and a flag's going to bring this back for holding. Another penalty for Dutchtown.
Dylan DeShary kind of shaking his head.
I
think he probably feels like it's on him.
Clock is stopped at 3 minutes.
Then somewhat of a, seems like a fast first half, Jeff, even though with the penalties.
Dutchtown has to have about 7 or 8 penalties at least at this point.
That'll probably be the #1 conversation.
Back at the 35-yard line for Harvey. It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Griffins.
I don't think it's had that much of an impact on Dutchtown scoring-wise, but if they advance, it's going to be something they need to address, because you can't avoid mistakes like that and expect to win every week.
Yeah, that's a free
There's
5.
a movement, yep. So they get 5 back.
And it hasn't affected the offense as much. I think it cost Dutchtown to punt the first drive with the holding call. But what it's done is it's kept South Lafourche's offense on the field, which has kept Dutchtown's offense off the field,
right?
Which is, made it a problem scoring when you're not on the field.
You're right. That's a good point. So he had a 10-yard penalty followed by a 5-yard penalty the other way. So now it's 2nd down and 10.
Dutchtown will get the ball to start the second half. If they can put 7 on the board here,
it's going to be tough to overcome. Pass complete to Tyler Adams. Spin move gets about 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. Probably 2 down situation right here. Dutchtown's field goal team, it doesn't have a lot of distance that they can make it from.
That was a great play pursued by the Tarpons defense.
So now we're inside of 2 minutes. Taking their time. I believe Dutchtown has all 3 timeouts. And it's Harvey outside, makes a move to the 10, to the 5, and he scores. And it's 20-0 Griffins with 1:41 left to go before halftime.
28 yards in a hurry, Jeff. He turned the corner and gone.
I want to give the credit to number 71, Dawson Davis. He made a nice block to seal the corner for Harvey and allowed him to get outside. And the extra point coming from Michael Mathern to try to make it 21-0.
Lakedra knocking on the door of 100 yards tonight.
And the extra point is good.
28-yarder and a 40-yarder something earlier.
And that's about right, close to 100 for sure. We're going to take a break. 21-0 Dutchtown. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
This baby will get your heart racing as much as your slick new devices do. Switch to REV. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev. Internet speed so fast, you're going to need seatbelts for your sofa. Switch to REV. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev.
Welcome back as our Rev game of the week. Dutchtown leads South Lafourche 21-0. Next week, there could be potential games at the Pit and at Griffin Field. It depends on who wins and who loses. If Dutchtown and Santa Maria win, they have a good chance of hosting next week, but we'll let you know as the night goes on. Well, 2 weeks, then we don't know. The quarterfinals, there's a possibility as well. All games on YouTube, Rev Sports, and on Rev Television. And again, welcome and thank you for watching South Lafourche.
Well, Ascension Parish team's up 49-0 right here.
Yeah,
combined in the first half. So
they've looked good so far.
I tell you, it's a dangerous spot right here, Jeff, for South Lafourche. A minute 30 left to go. South Lafourche hasn't been able to establish any running game. Dutchtown has, we believe, all 3 timeouts left. And Dutchtown can score from 40 to 50 yards out.
Right.
So South Lafourche needs to get a first down, because I think Coach Mastretta is probably ready to call timeouts.
Could be. 1st and 10. Shotgun. Pressure down. And that is number 7, Lathan Riley on the corner blitz, Coach.
Corner blitz. You see it a lot of times on the short side of the field. That corner's playing up and gives them a short run and a great angle.
And we have a timeout by the Griffins. You suggested that would probably happen. We talked about this earlier with the non-district, non-select bi-district round, the games that are taking place in this pod that Dutchtown and South Lafourche are in. We talked about the Ponchatoula-Chalmette game. That game is paired up with this game. And then the other 2 teams in this pod, you have Central at East St. John. Neville gets the bye by being the number 2 seed. If Dutchtown wins, they would host if Chalmette wins. And we talked about Ponchatoula. If they win, then Dutchtown would play at Ponchatoula next week. South Lafourche would get a home game if they won this game and Chalmette was their opponent. So there's still a lot of football to be played, over one half of football. So
Ponchatoula, Chalmette still 14-14 on the last score we got.
That's the last update that we saw.
Well, either one of these teams want that team. They want them to play about 8 overtimes.
Yeah.
Tonight and be in a dogfight.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's say Dutchtown wins and they wind up playing on the road next week against Ponchatoula. If Dutchtown could win that game, that could set up a quarterfinal game at home, which is something that you don't need to be thinking about right now, but it's just an option perhaps. 2nd down and pass caught. Broken tackle, but then here's Blake Bowie to bring the receiver down, number 3, Petrie.
To number 3.
Another second ran off the clock. It should have been 1:13. I don't know if they'll put another second back on. But that's 2 plays in 11 seconds. Coach Mastretta right on it to call timeout.
So you were bringing it up. Ponchatoula, they are leading that game. So a timeout called. And as we said, if Dutchtown wins and Ponchatoula wins, Dutchtown would be a visitor next week. But Ponchatoula, as far as the playoff goes, that's the closest potential opponent that you would have outside of this district. So it's about an hour drive. So it's a doable drive, and perhaps we can cover that next week. We'll have to find out. Santa Ma's up 28-0 at halftime. That's I'm not going to say it's a shocker because it's a 5-28 game, but Santa Ma just exploding all over Ouachita. We expected maybe Ouachita from playing in a tougher district to maybe be a little more competitive, but that's not happening, Coach.
Well, We'll be on the road next week if Ponchatoula wins and Dutchtown holds on to this 21-point lead right here. Just whether Andre is going to be on the road with us or not, that's the question.
Right, but Santa Ma, if Santa Ma plays Sam Houston, that game would be at Santa Ma. If Mandeville wins, then Santa Ma would have to go to Mandeville. Third down and long. And a whistle. And did we get a timeout called? Let's see. That's going to be a Tarpon timeout. So they are out of timeouts. And the power rankings, we talked about that already as well a little bit with the teams in Ascension Parish and Livingston Parish at 5-5-8. 3 of the top 9. You see Dutchtown at 7, Santa Ma at 5, and Walker at 9. Ruston is number 1. Neville is number 2. They're paired up with Dutchtown in a potential quarterfinal. Destrehan 3. Airline and Santa Ma are paired up for a potential quarterfinal. Then you have Zachary at 6, West Monroe at 8, and Chalmette at 10. And Chalmette and Dutchtown is a potential second-round game.
Yeah. Fans, Jeff and I, fan is short for fanatic.
Yep.
It'll be, and that's what fans do. They're allowed to look 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road. I'm sure Coach Mastretta has not looked at any film of Ponchatoula or Chalmette.
Right.
Quarterback draw.
Yeah, being conservative. Don't want to have a turnover right there on 3rd and long. You just had the turnover by Mackey with the interception. But now Dutchtown's going to call their 3rd and final timeout. We can talk about those top 10 power ratings a little bit. We talked about Dutchtown and Chalmette. They're paired up together in a potential second-round matchup at 7 and 10. If Dutchtown can get through 2 playoff wins, they would potentially be paired up with Neville at number 2. 8 and 9 are paired up, so perhaps next week Walker would be playing at West Monroe, and then that game would be paired up with Ruston at number 1. And then Santa Ma and Airline, that's the potential quarterfinal matchup right there. Santa Ma in the second round, the 12 seed is who they're paired up with, and that's Sam Houston.
Yeah, it's you gotta like, as a fan perspective, and I don't want to disrespect, South Lafourche. They got another half to play, and disrespect Washita that's playing Santa Ma right now. But Dutchtown and Santa Ma seem to be in control. So at halftime, you start looking and paying more attention to what the scores are.
And it's a low snap. He gets it away. Was it out of bounds?
Called out of bounds, and the clock stopped.
So ball at the 35.
So Dutchtown has a 35-yard line. Dutchtown will have a 1st and 10.
That was not a good scenario for South Lafourche right there. They wasn't able to run, but 25 seconds off the clock. I think it was 1:24 when they took over.
Their defense, Bryce Guidry is their defensive coordinator and the linebacker coach. He's going to try to dial up some defense right here as the offensive coordinator, Mike Janis, has 1st and 10 with his offense on the field.
Dutchtown got Caden Mackey in the backfield. They're gonna try to put 7 on the board.
And so Oakland throwing deep, and nice hit, but the pass is caught. Down to about the 11. That's Casey McCoy on that post route again. Let's look at the shot right there. Good defensive play by South Lafourche, just a little bit late. As you got the side hit. Very good, clean, legal hit.
Good ball placement. Once again, if it's in front of him, safety got a chance.
And this is Mackey, and he cuts in for the touchdown, and Dutchtown puts 6 more on the board, and it's 27-0. And a late flag, another perhaps unsportsmanlike penalty against Dutchtown. But Mackey, I guess Mackey is kind of in there because they don't want to use Gary Dukes like we said. Harvey you don't want to overuse him as well. So Mackey had an opportunity right there, and he took advantage of it and got the touchdown.
Well, it's a time where, if you can put another 7 on the board, Jeff, you kind of using all the bullets in your arsenal to attack and get in, and Dutchtown made it look easy. 24 seconds runs off the clock, and they go 35 yards, and it's unsportsmanlike conduct on Dutchtown again.
That could be a good break for South Lafourche. They may be able to. There's still 35 seconds left on the clock, and they like to challenge you on offense. So we'll see what happens if that matters. And the extra point is good. We'll take a break. 28-0 is our score. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing, GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation for their support of our sports medicine program.
28-0, Dutchtown leads South Lafourche with 35 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Jeff Porsche and Patrick Email with you, and Dutchtown's about to kick as they are going to be assessed the unsportsmanlike penalty after the touchdown. I want to remind you, though, that at halftime we're going to have an interview with the Dutchtown swim team, their top performer Matthew Okonski, and also Jared Shakesnyder, the boys swim coach for Dutchtown High School. So we're going to have the kick from Michael Mathern. And Dutchtown just got the points after using their timeouts like Coach Email had suggested they may do. But right now, South Lafourche this might be their best chance to get some points on the board and make this a closer game before halftime.
They better get number 22 blocked. Otherwise, they're not going to have very good field position.
And it's picked up by number 1, going to cut outside and stop and gets to the 30. That's Titan Alamont. And so 28 seconds left. They got 70 yards to go.
Highland Rents on the tackle. I expect him to kneel it, Jeff.
Well, we'll see. So Mandeville leading Sam Houston 28-14. I believe that's the second quarter or halftime score. So they're potentially a second round opponent for Sandoval if they can hold on in the second half. So now we'll see. They may try to do something right here. They're in the shotgun. They have 4 receivers, so they may not be taking a knee, but they're going to go up the middle with Dardar.
And nobody can stop it, Jeff, because both teams are out of timeouts. 40 seconds between plays, so that'll be it for the half.
I believe so, 15 seconds. So they didn't take a knee, but they basically just kind of had the run up the middle for a short gain and go to halftime. A very good first half for Dutchtown as the clock hits 0 and it's 28-0. Dutchtown leads South Lafourche. We're going to take a break and then we're going to bring in Matthew Okonski and Jared Shakesnyder. You're watching the Dutchtown Griffins Game of the Week.
REV Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore, all to connect your business with the world. REV is about big business technology with small business personal service.
For a limited time, get up to $300 off business services. Call or visit us today at letsrev.biz.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins!
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, forget about X's and O's. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
So halftime, 28-0 Dutchtown with the lead. Here's the Dutchtown sound.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Griffin Girls. Griffin Girls sponsor is Glenda Palajo. Griffin Girl leaders are Captain Anna Barrett, Co-Captain Tori Petrie, Lieutenant Captains Alexa Perkins and Addison Abbott. Next, we would like to recognize the students who have received all-state honors for the 2023 school year. They will represent the Dutchtown Sound at next week's LMEA All-State Conference. The students were chosen through an audition process and are recognized as the best of the best in the state on their instrument. Dutchtown had the largest representation in the state from a single band program with 24 students chosen. They are, for Symphonic Band, first chair overall, Emily Payne. Also, Nicole Dong, Cohen Chesterfield. First chair overall, Anna Grace Stricker. Also, Claire Flanagan. First chair overall, Katie Parody. Also, Raquel Velez. First chair overall, Jacob Johnson. Also, Carson Lambert. Lewis Blakely. First chair overall, Jacob Weber. Also, William Arnold, Gabriel Rodriguez. For concert band, Ashley Weems, Ellie Amity, Tanner Mitchen, John Connor Edmond, Ainsley Sway, Cole DiNasasso, Blaine Dunn, Zachary Johnson. For orchestra, Hannah Miles, Riley Menard, and Victor Diaz. Last, we would like to congratulate the entire Dutchtown Sound on their award-winning and state championship production of Wednesday the 13th. The band received superior ratings in all captions at the 2023 Louisiana Showcase of Marching Band State Championship held in Lafayette, Louisiana last Saturday. The color guard, under the leadership of Captains Kennedy Jarrett, McKinley Snowden, and Brianna Johnson, were Class 4A winners and most outstanding auxiliary unit in the state. Drum majors Christian McDowell, Katie Parody, and Gay Rodriguez were chosen as best drum majors in Class 4A. The percussion section, under the leadership of drumline captain Vincent Greco and front ensemble section leader Victor Diaz, were chosen as best in Class 4A and second overall in the state. The band also received the most outstanding soloist of the competition and were chosen as Class 4A Best Band and overall Grand Champion. Dutchtown finished the season with the highest ranking in school history and became the first school from Ascension Parish to win first place overall at the Louisiana Showcase of Marching Bands. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give one more round of applause to your state marching band champions, the Dutchtown Sound.
So the Dutchtown Sound, with their performance and their recognition of their state championship, grand champion at the competition last week. Jeff Porsche with you, and for the remainder of the halftime period, we're going to be joined by some special guests that involve the Dutchtown swim team. And the first person that we're going to bring in here is the Dutchtown swimmer, most outstanding swimmer here with the club, and that is Matthew Okonski. So Matthew, want to welcome you and thank you for joining us out here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So you see what happened right here, and you're going to see the swim meet. And why don't you kind of describe what's happening here and what you do with your competitions?
Well, yeah, so this is at our Ascension meet that happened like in early October, I think.
Yes.
And this was my first event. My first individual event that I raced. And so one thing that I try to do with all my races in season is try to work on like little things like underwaters, off the walls, like stuff that can all help me improve later on in the season when it comes time for state and those big competitions. And so that's mainly what I tried to do here in this race.
In this competition right here, and you can see just how dominant you were as the competition just you just leaving the competition behind. How much work goes into something like this? How much have you practiced and competed over the years to get where you have a dominant performance like that?
It's been a lot of hours in the pool. I think I really started taking it competitively in like towards like early middle school, sort of. And then like, so just like at the end of, sort of like the second half of my freshman year, I started doing morning practices before school twice a week. And then like some of our practices last for like 2 hours. So it's just a lot of hours that are put in the pool and a lot of work that goes into it too.
So you can tell that this work has really paid off, as this is just a stunning performance as we see you wrapping up there. And you finished first place in the 200 IM and then the 500 freestyle. What do those two events involve? We're talking about the CCSL Championship at the Crawfish Aquatics Pool in Baton Rouge. What are the IM and the freestyle?
Yeah, so that was at our city meet that we just competed in the last week of October. And the 200 IM, it's a race that includes all 4 strokes.
Yes.
And IM is short for individual medley, and it goes in order of 50 fly, 50 back, 50 abreast, and 50 free. So it's kind of like a strategy, like go out or try to like do your half of the race as well as possible, or what you're good at in that race, and like so it's based off strategy off what you're good at. And then the 500, that's pretty much like a distance race.
Yeah.
So it's basically all about the pace and finding a good pace and trying to hold it.
Well, you did a great job, and then you're qualified now for the LHSAA School State Championship, and that's going to be held next week, and that's at the Recreation and Aquatic Center in Sulphur. So are you ready for this?
I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah. How do you think you're going to do?
I think I'm going to do really good. I think I will.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I think I will win in the 500, but
Okay.
2 IM. I'm going to try to go for the win, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, and it's good to be confident, and you know, we're hoping for the best for you, and you did a great job with that, and you're doing a great job up here. So I wanted to thank you once again, and we want to wish you the best of luck. This is Matthew Okonski. Thanks for joining us here today. So good luck next week.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to now switch mics here, and we're going to bring in the coach, Jared Shake-Snyder, part of the Shake-Snyder family of Dutchtown High School, the family of coaches here, and you're just getting into the coaching thing with the swim team. And what type of experience have you had with that, Coach?
Oh, I'm on my 3rd year, and I think every year I try to do something different just for the swimmers. I really do enjoy working with the high school swimmers. I teach 5th grade at Lake Elementary, and just being around high schoolers, it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I really do love it.
Well, you've done a great job. And when you talk about that CCSL championship meet that recently you had, Dutchtown placed 3rd overall. How many teams competed, and what type of accomplishment is that, comparatively speaking?
Yeah, so it's like through the city of Baton Rouge and Ascension Parish. So there's about 18 teams, and our boys placed 3rd, and I think our girls placed 7th or 8th, which is pretty cool. We have a very strong boys team, and I think our girls are going to get there one day. But for now, our boys, we really focus on them.
So who are some of the other top performers? Of course, Matthew Okonski did a great job. Who else are some of the other people that you might want to mention here that have done well?
Yeah, so we have Gibson Patalo, Everett Board, Cade Kleinpeter is another one, Hayden O'Day, Logan Leffert, and Lucian Carmouche. So those are some of our top boys. And then as far as our girls go, Stella Carmouche, who's a senior, she's one of our captains.
Yes.
And then we have Avery Geraci, Gabrielle Diaz, Ginevra Andolfo, Grayson Calfo, Kelsey Whitell, Mariana Brumfield.
So a good performance. And what are you expecting as your team goes, and you and as well as Matthew goes to the state championships over in Sulphur? What can we expect from Dutchtown over there?
I think the boys are going to do pretty good. The girls are going to have a struggle, but I think they're able to get that done, get the job done. It's a really great atmosphere over there. It's a fun time for the kids, and just be able to compete against Baton Rouge schools and New Orleans schools.
And we wish you the best of luck out there, and you've done a great job. You've only been doing this for a couple of years now, and you picked it up really well. And, we're very grateful to have a coach like you out here, coming from another school, but willing to put in the hours to help this team succeed. So thanks a lot for all of that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so we have Jared Shake-Snyder, and earlier we heard from Matthew Okonski. And, again, Matthew Okonski, first place 200 IM and 500 freestyle at the CCSL championship meet at Crawfish Aquatics Pool in Baton Rouge. And then we're going to have the state championship meet November 15th through 18th at the Recreation and Aquatic Center in Sulphur. So thanks a lot to both of you for coming out. We're going to take a break right now and come back for the second half. You're watching the REV Game of the Week.
REV Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore, all to connect your business with the world. REV is about big business technology with small business personal service.
For a limited time, get up to $300 off business services. Call or visit us today at letsrev.biz.
BT Chapman and AJ Pickett with Advantage Therapy. are honored and excited to team up with Dutchtown High School's athletics. At Advantage Therapy, we are dedicated to helping our patients regain the highest possible functional status through one-on-one patient care. Advantage Therapy has spent nearly 2 decades providing both outpatient orthopedic physical therapy and occupational therapy to the people of Ascension and surrounding parishes. From all of us at Advantage Therapy, go Griffins!
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, forget about X's and O's. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Dr. Brian Hollis is Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Dr. Hollis has an excellent reputation for bringing state-of-the-art technology and the highest standard of patient care to Ascension. He attended LSU Dental School, and he completed a residency to become a board-certified specialist in orthodontics. An avid supporter in our community, Dr. Hollis is married to Celeste Pyron Hollis, and they have 4 children. Dr. Hollis, Ascension Parish's orthodontist. Grow up smiling with Hollis Orthodontics. Get to know SEC Heating and Cooling this year. Locally owned and operated by Stephen Conyer since 2013, SEC Heating and Cooling works with residential and commercial customers in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and surrounding parishes. SEC specializes in preventive maintenance, repair, and complete changeout and installation of energy-efficient central air systems. From professional sales and expert installation of central AC systems to repairs and ductless AC systems, we can handle all your needs. For total peace of mind, call SEC today.
No one teaches you what to do immediately after an accident. Once everyone is safe, your first call should be to an attorney, not the insurance company.
Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you at your time of need. Call the Title Law Firm. We'll walk you through what you need to do in real time.
But you can take advantage of the Title Law Firm's 30 years of experience.
Before you call your insurance, make a free, no obligation call to the Title Law Firm.
Call 756-0007 when you're injured. You gotta call Title.
Getting ready for the second half of tonight's playoff game between South Lafourche and Dutchtown. Dutchtown leads 28-0 at the half, and they are going to get the ball to start the second half. Jeff Porsche, Patrick Email with you. And the final couple of minutes before we talk about the second half, I want to bring up volleyball one more time for Dutchtown High School. And you see a great shot of them. That's their Go Pink uniforms, and they had such an outstanding season. And at the beginning of this broadcast, you saw the little package from Thursday night as they beat Chappelle in 5 sets. They were down 2-1 and made the big comeback and won and made it to the semifinals. That's only their second semifinal appearance in school history, but Patrick Ricks has done an amazing job with these girls, and the coaching job that he did last night was sensational because they were on the ropes. They were 1 set away from their season ending, and they just responded with their best performance of the year.
Well, Jeff, I don't know if Coach Ricks will say it's his best performance. I mean, it's the biggest win because they got you into the semifinals. And a lot of times when it comes to the playoffs, you play 5 games to win it all, and very rarely can you play your best game for 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. And you just hope that, hey, you can win the game that you don't play very well. And we played lights out in the second round when we beat Central Lafourche, I believe, at home on Saturday to get us to the quarters, and didn't play very well. A lot of unforced errors, simple things as the back line, not really judging the speed of the ball and whether it was going to travel out of bounds or not, and they probably rep that on a regular basis. The height of it, how fast it's going, and make a decision whether they're going to try to return it or let it go and hope it goes out of bounds. And unforced errors, as we call it. But, nobody does it better. Nobody works harder than Patrick Ricks. 11 seniors. If he worked hard this year, he's going to have to work extra hard next year to replace that group.
And they always have a lot of seniors. They'll probably just replace and reload. That's where the program is right now. You see the road to the Final Four and the by-district round one, as the 3 seed took on the number 30 Covington and won 25-22, 25-7, 25-18. In the regional round that was played a couple of days later on Saturday, they beat the 19 seed Central Lafourche 25-13, 25-12, 25-7. Then last night at the Cajun Dome, they played the 11 seed Archbishop Chappelle, and they won in 5, 25-27, 25-20, 27-29. Then they won the last two convincingly, 25-14 and 15-8. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and the Dutchtown season ended at about 6 o'clock this evening as they lost in the semifinals to the number 2 seed Mount Carmel, and they lost 25-21, 25-21, 25-16. The finals in the girls Division I is going to be Mount Carmel versus Dominican, and that's the 1-2, and that's kind of what everybody expected to happen, and that is exactly what happened.
That's chalk, as they say, Jeff?
Yeah.
But once again, that's Dutchtown High. You're right there. You're 25-21 in that first set and just can't get over the hump, and it's a lot of pressure. And sometimes when you lose the big games, you think, man, if they would have played better teams, but that's not what Coach Ricks does. Coach Ricks schedules. I mean, they played Mount Carmel. That's the third time, and they've lost to them 3 times in a row. But it said every time, or the second match compared to the first, they had gotten closer to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the result of this week. I mean, today's compared to the previous. But he'll continue to battle and try to get there.
So the special teams right there, you see Coach Varnado talking over things, Varnado in the purple right there, and talking it over with his special teams, basically, I suppose, trying to tell them we have a 4-score lead, and as long as you don't make mistakes, you ought to be in good shape. And so just avoid anything costly like a penalty right here.
Yeah, that's T.J. Davis, who's the actual special teams coach. He came over after being the head coach at Silliman, state champion Silliman Wildcats, former of the Lisa League. Switched over. Well, actually, they're playing in the Mississippi League, I think, at the moment. They are not part of the LHSAA, as Riverside and Cedar Creek and Parkview, Plain Dealing, I think, all switched over sometime in the late 80s, early 90s.
And so we're ready to go for the second half. And the South Lafourche will kick.
Onside?
Could be.
They've done everything else so far.
Yeah, they like to little trick plays, and they're not afraid of a challenge, as the kick return is going to go past the 40-yard line, and that is Rylan Mayu, number 32. So good return from Mayo.
Little Mayo or young Mayo?
Younger Mayo. I believe that's related to
the third quarter of tonight's ball game is sponsored by
the other Logan Mayo. As you see, we have an update. 3:43 left to go in the third. Santa Maria still comfortably ahead, 28-0 over Ouachita. So they are in good shape. Dutchtown also ahead, 28-0. Still lots of time on the clock for South Lafourche to make something happen, though. And on first down, the handoff up the middle to Harvey. Breaks a tackle and then gets another guy down. He goes to the 30, to the 20, and he's going to score as a very powerful run from about 56 yards. And that makes it 34-0. And you see him right there. You see him take down the linebacker, and he was able to get into the end zone and beat the guy with the angle. It's a tough, tough way to start the second half.
Quick math tells me he's over 100 yards.
Oh, he's definitely so, and he's having maybe his best performance of the season right now, as the extra point coming from Michael Mathern trying to make it 35 to nothing. And it's up, and it's good, and we will break with 11:35 left to go in the third. 35-0 Dutchtown. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
This baby will get your heart racing as much as your slick new devices do. Switch to REV. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev. Internet speed so fast, you're gonna need seatbelts for your sofa. Switch to REV. No contracts, no data caps, no nonsense. Just all fiber internet all the time. Build your plan at letsrev.com. Let's Rev.
$11:35 left to go, and on the first play of the second half, LaKeedron Harvey from 56 yards scores on the long run, and it's 35-0 Dutchtown over South Lafourche. And Mathern will kick off, and back deep is Titan Alamo for South Lafourche. So that's a positive way to start the second half for the Griffins.
Not the way that South Lafourche wanted to start it, Jeff. You got to hope you get a turnover, maybe get a scoop and score, some kind of way to make it 28-7 and not 35-0.
And there's a kick, and it goes deep to about the 10. And good return past 25, or maybe at the 25. So it's first down for South Lafourche. A little bit about South Lafourche for the home audience in Ascension Parish. Maybe since this is the first time that these two teams are meeting, a very rich history for South Lafourche. A historically great program in football. They have 2 state championships, and one of them is in 71 and one of them is in 77. But everybody talks about 77 as we're going to get to the first play, and then we can talk about that a little bit more as they go out there with Carson Ogeron and Landon Dardar in the backfield. And on first down, pressure, throws, and incomplete. And so I don't see any flags on the field. And so we're talking about that 77 team, and that's the team that most people are most familiar with, as they have 2 players on that team that went on to bigger and brighter things. And who were the 2 guys, the 2 most famous guys on that team, Coach?
One was the father of the Who Dat Nation,
Bobby Hebert.
Bobby Hebert.
And the other one?
Bebe.
That's right.
Ogeron.
That's right. And on second down, the pass goes for about 3 or 4 yards. So it's going to bring up third down to about 6. But that 77 team was special with 2 Louisiana's favorite sons on offense and defense, and they were roommates at Northwestern State as well. So Bobby Hebert and Ed Ogeron, 2 of the most famous graduates of South Lafourche High School, and they have 3 retired numbers. The third, those 2, of course, and then also Ronnie Este, number 83, LSU guy. And on third down, this is a first down for Dardar, and maybe the nicest gain of the night, out of bounds in Dutchtown territory.
Nice play.
That was at the 30-yard line. Good enough for a first down.
It's almost like they built a wall down the field and then they swung it out there. I'm sure Coach Harrell was not too excited about that.
Yep. So first down, and to finish the whole thing about that 77 team and the retired numbers for South Lafourche, Bobby Hebert's number is retired. He wore 15 at South Lafourche, not number 3 as he did with the Saints. As the swing pass is complete, and it's going to be 2nd and 10. And Bebe, he wore number 77. That's about the number you would expect for a big defensive line. And then, like we said, Ronnie Este, the LSU guy, number 63. So there's a lot of pride in this program at South Lafourche.
Did Lau Alzado wear 77?
Yeah, I think he did.
That kind of a little mirror image of what you would think Bebe would be on the football field.
Yeah, he was a wild guy, that's for sure. I grew up in Houma, and South Lafourche, they always had some great teams and some great players, and they were always one of the best teams in that Houma Terrebonne district, Houma Terrebonne Lafourche Thibodaux district. And back when they had lots of guys like those guys and Tommy Hodson and lots of other, he was at Central Lafourche, and you had a lot of guys at Thibodaux like Eric Andelsek and Ruffin Rodrigue. It was just a great time to be down there, and it's trying to bring the tradition back at South Lafourche, Coach B.J. Young, as it's 3rd down and 7. And a whistle in the flag.
Well, Coach Young's got a decent nucleus of young players.
Yep.
They're going to have to replace quarterback Ogeron. And being from down the bayou, you got to think he's related to Bebe. And Bebe had 2 sons that went on to play at McNeese. One, I think, being a quarterback.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic. I don't know if they got that from their mama's side or not.
So now 3rd down, 12 after the penalty. 8:52 left to go in the 3rd quarter, 35-0. Dutchtown with the lead. Pressure and sack. Just a jailbreak, and who gets it? That's Josh Lewis. I believe that's the 4th sack of the night. I think Bowie has one, Miles has one, Baker has one, now Lewis.
Well, Dutchtown's doing a wholesale substitution, assuming that they're going to punt, and they may well punt, but if they had gained any yards on that, I don't think they would have punted, because they've gone for it or quick punted most of the night, and Dutchtown calls timeout.
And so we're going to keep it here, and we're looking at that Dutchtown defense and just the aggressive blitz and the sacks that they've had here tonight. This is a historic defense for Chris Harrell and Dutchtown High School. As you look, all time this season, they've only given up 80 points in 9 games. Now that eclipses their best performance by 20 points as you look at last season, and they had a great defense last year with Agu and A.K. Burrell, and yet they just reloaded, and they gave up 100 points last year, 20 fewer points this season. And then in 04, that was that first season, I believe, right? 113 in 10 games.
Yeah, we played pretty good defense. Now, the difference of the 04 team and today's offense is we ran the wing T back then.
Yeah.
And so we did enough on offense to keep the clock running, and Coach Daigle and Chris Carrier and I had a good relationship, worked well together, and had some good players on those teams that played on the defensive side of the football early in Dutchtown's history.
4th and 27, and it's a line drive. Just barely got it away, but he did, and it's going to go to the 40, where it's taken by Terrence Petrie. So it's 1st down for Dutchtown, and all the coaches on the want to bring up all the coaches for South Lafourche. We talked about the head coach, B.J. Young, and he's also the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator Bryce Guidry, and then the DB coach Justin Galjor, Daniel Gaspard on the D-line, Brody Williams on the O-line, Mason Boudreau, running backs coach Scott Sensano at wide receivers, and then the freshman coach Chandler Guidros. So they got a young team, and they're trying to put together, this team. The whole school was basically nearly destroyed by Hurricane Ida, and so they've had a lot to recover from. That's a deep pass downfield overthrown. But, as I said, it was just 2.5 years ago where you had the hurricane that went through Port Fourchon and went right through Galliano and Golden Meadow and all that. And so, just a couple of years ago, there was talk on whether, the school and the people were going to be back, and now they're trying to put together a sound football program, and they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's hard to recover from that. I haven't been down there since Ida. Hadn't been to the island. Traditionally, at least once a year, I go down there, and I hadn't been down there.
There's LaKeedron Harvey, and he is running hard tonight, and he gets a first down. And I think Coach probably told him, look, you're going to get the rock all night because we're going to try to keep Gary Dukes healthy if we can. And he's answered the bell as over in the pit, Ouachita has scored, but it's 28-3.
Dylan Champagne at quarterback. Ethan Oquin probably done for the evening.
And he gets
nice
close
decision.
to a first down, excuse me.
Nice late pull by Dylan.
And you wonder with this score and perhaps a comfortable lead if LaKeedron Harvey is going to be out there much longer, as you might see a couple of the other running backs get an opportunity, because you don't want to see him get hurt because he's peaking at the right time. He's got 150 yards minimum tonight, I believe. And that's an incomplete pass. That's just a little shovel pass to Mayu. It's going to be third down and short.
Yeah, he would like to have that one back. Get a chance to touch it. A version of a jet sweep, except he doesn't get yards as a running back. He gets receiving yards, and the quarterback likes it.
Little interesting score. Ponchatoula up 14 on Chalmette.
Halfway through the third.
28-14.
Well,
if Ponchatoula wins, no matter who wins this game, they're going to be hosting next week. As a swing pass to Harvey high. It's going to bring up 4th and 1.
The encouraging thing that I look at that score is Ponchatoula has given up 14.
Yeah, they have a great defense.
And that's really what's gotten them into the playoffs.
And last week they got beat pretty soundly by Hammond, who is not a great football team. So they've rebounded nicely from a bad loss. 4th and 1. There was a lot of, I'll talk about this after this play, as Harvey gets the first down to the 34. There's a lot of debate or questions whether or not Chalmette was a good team, because they play in a district that frankly doesn't have a lot of good teams. Errett was a good team, but then you have East Jeff and West Jeff and Bonneville, who are not very good. So there was a lot of debate on whether or not they were good or just played in a district that wasn't so good, but they're not doing well tonight so far.
Yeah. Speaking of Hammond and Ponchatoula, there's been discussions about them and where they're going to be placed when it comes to the district next year.
And the pass downfield caught, and another touchdown catch made by Andrew Fields. As a beautiful pass right there from Dylan Champagne, and it's now 41-0.
36 yards, right on the money, right over the outside shoulder. Big brother's in the house tonight, Ethan Fields.
Right. Yeah, the Ole Miss Rebel offensive lineman. He was on the Dutchtown team last season. And the extra point coming from Michael III.
According to his dad, they take 2 less offensive linemen for an SEC travel game. He traveled when they came down to Tulane early in the season, but didn't travel as the Ole Miss plays Georgia tomorrow.
So 42-0, 5:37 left to go in the third. We'll break. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing, GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation, for their support of our sports medicine program.
So it's 42-0. Dutchtown comfortably ahead now, and looking in good shape to advance to the second round with 5:37 left to go in the third quarter. South Lafourche is playing hard, and they got some imagination on offense, but they just hadn't been able to put it together here so far tonight on a very, very strong Dutchtown defense.
Tough decisions by the special teams coach, T.J. Davis. We talked about him earlier. One decision he made, I see Carter Hanbury is taking his wraps off on the sideline. He's normally on the kickoff team. You won't see him anymore tonight. No heavy package for him tonight. Kind of a ho-hum game for the standards that he has set for himself, Jeff.
He may be the MVP of the district after his performance, and a collision, and South Lafourche is going to have to get on the ball inside the 5, so that was not good. And you have an injured South Lafourche Tarpon on the field at about the 14. He was one of the guys who had the collision on the initial attempt at the ball. We'll take a break while this is happening. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
REV Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore, all to connect your business with the world. REV is about big business technology with small business personal service.
For a limited time, get up to $300 off business services. Call or visit us today at letsrev.biz.
The best way to recruit for at-home tailgating is Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, briskets, steak, and boudin. All of the 5 stars are at Chris's Specialty Foods. Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Looking for an extraordinary education opportunity? Introducing Ascension Public School's Early College Option Program, where you can earn a high school diploma and an associate's degree from River Parishes Community College at the same time. Experience the best of both worlds as high school seamlessly blends with college coursework in a rigorous yet supportive program. Yet stay connected to your home high school through clubs, organizations, and sports. And here's the best part. Students pay no tuition or textbook cost. Ascension Public School's Early College Option Program, where your future begins today.
Back from the break, 42-0, Dutchtown leads South Lafourche. Jeff Porsche, Patrick Email with you. And the injured player for South Lafourche came up, and he looked like he was all right. Titan Alamo, number 1. But they're pinned back at about the 4-yard line, maybe the 5, 1st and 10 for the Tarpons.
Hope you got your roster handy, Jeff.
Yeah, there's going to be, I think, a lot of substitutions coming in the game. Looks like number 3, Terrence Petrie, may be in their quarterback. I see Dardar in the backfield, or maybe Petrie is just set up in the backfield.
Dutchtown's got a lot of new faces. Looks like about 8 new faces.
Yeah.
I only see 2 starters. Looks like Zion and Josh Lewis are the only 2 in the game.
So a handoff and a nice gain. I believe that's Dardar. He's gone the distance. And I want to bring this up because La Boudreau got us a team synopsis from Crescent City Sports, and you brought it up and you wanted to talk about it. The synopsis of this year's team, basically it says, scrappy group, they love to compete.
Well, when it's 42-0, and I asked Coach Young, give me something about your team, and he says they love each other and they love playing with each other, and that's never been more important in a night like tonight when you could be pointing fingers. And remember, when you point, you got 3 more pointing right back at you. And for them to continue to come out here and compete and continue to love on each other through this process.
Yeah, I've seen high school teams just kind of disintegrate when the kids start getting mad at each other and start pointing fingers at each other. And these guys are they're trying. And, they want to have a respectable finish to their season, as it looks like Dutchtown's going to advance tonight. But getting a first down, the ball was all the way back to their 5. You had an injured player, and it didn't go well on that kick, but they come back and get a first down. And now here's a new back in the game. and that's number 24, I believe.
Well, this is what South Lafourche needs to do. They need to run it. Dutchtown hasn't given up but 80 points all year. I don't think they're going to score 42 in the next 14 minutes. So run the football, run the clock, build some confidence with those young offensive linemen, gain some continuity going into the offseason, something they can build on.
So that number 24 is not on the roster. They're probably, because they're, as you talked about, they're a smaller team in terms of numbers. They may have had to dip to their JV or freshman team for some backups. Maybe get them some seasoning. As a quick pass basically goes for no gain.
Yeah, we don't have because number 3, Petrie, that quarterback, we don't have a.
Yeah, Petrie has been playing at wide receiver. He's a sophomore. He will probably be the starting quarterback next season as Carson Ogeron's a senior. So we're now 1:22 left to go before the end of the third quarter. And not going to get it right there. It's going to bring up fourth down.
Well, has there been any talk about South Lafourche potentially staying in 4A down there, Jeff, being with the new numbers and the new districts?
It's possible.
On the play. It'll bring up 4th and 4.
But the issue that could potentially happen right there is South Lafourche and South Terrebonne are both playing up in Division I non-select, and they already have about a 7 or 8 team district in the Bayou district with with Hanville and East St. John and Destrehan and Terrebonne and Thibodaux and Central Lafourche. So not sure if they can, or they may have to split up the Bayou district. Who knows? Fourth down, quarterback rolls out, Petrie, and trying to get it to number 11, and it's incomplete. Landon Charles. And so turnover on downs, and Dutchtown's going to get great field position at the 21-yard line. So 15 seconds left, and I believe we're getting a running clock now. You can see that down in the bottom right. So we won't even get another play before the third quarter ends. We're going to take a break as it's 42-0. Dutchtown leads South Lafourche. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
Dutchtown 42, South Lafourche 0.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing, GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation for their support of our sports medicine program.
Fourth quarter ready to begin for Dutchtown High School, and let's look at their schedule. And I brought this up last week. They're 1 point away from a perfect season as they lost to Walker 21-20, and a game where they missed an extra point and they missed a field goal. But then after that, look what they did. They started out 0-1 in district and still got a share of the district title, beating Live Oak, which was a bit of a challenge. Live Oak was winning that game in the fourth quarter. Then they beat Santa Maria easily, beat Denham Springs easily, and had a late run to beat East Ascension by 23. It's first down. We can talk about that after this play. A little flip to Mayo. It's going to count as a completion. Gets about 5. So what do you see in this Dutchtown season as maybe we can look at the schedule again. What did you see in that season so far, Coach?
Outside of the Gotro injury, Dutchtown's pretty healthy. Like we talked about earlier, Diego, the little nicked, and they were able to keep Dukes out of the game tonight, and so they play. Dutchtown is playing as well as a team in all phases.
For sure.
Than any team. We talked about 2010, the last time they were a number 1 seed, or the only time they were a number 1 seed. But I'm going back off of memory to the 14 or 15 or 16 neck of the woods, and you run into Destrehan because you don't have the type of season that you wanted, and you do. And that's Chase Cangelosi coming off the field right there. Senior, he's done for the night.
Maddox Woodward got the carry right there. Got a few hard-earned yards. It's 3rd and 6. And that's a keeper by the quarterback, Champagne.
Champagne gets the ball down to the 8-yard line.
And so first and goal for Dutchtown right there. So
these are the guys that practice all year, Jeff. They were out there back when it was 105. They want to have some fun for Dutchtown, and of course, South Lafourche, they want to continue to play hard.
Yep. So the quarterback, Champagne, nearly a touchdown through the hands of Christopher Williams, senior tight end. That would have been a moment he would have remembered.
Yeah, he's probably, Coach, give it to me again. Give me a chance, but because Christian played a lot of key roles. He's kind of been in that two tight end package when he and Dylan DeShary were both in there, but doesn't play the Jawan Johnson role. He plays the
more the
Foster Morrow role.
Yep. High snap. Champagne's in trouble, and he's dropped. Good defense right there by number 34 for South Lafourche, Caleb Ingram. So the sack, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and goal, but a long way to go. Ponchatoula has given up some points. Chalmette now trails 28-20 in the 3rd quarter. So Chalmette making a comeback.
Yeah, well, I like Chalmette scoring points. Whether they win or lose, I like them scoring points.
They're assessing a penalty.
Personal foul.
So the public address says a personal foul. So
is that
it's
an automatic
be 3rd down?
Nope.
3rd down according to the marker on the far side of the field. You can see it up there at about the 9.
Personal foul, no. What comes with an automatic 1st down? Unsportsmanlike?
I don't know what that was. I see another flag.
This was on Dutchtown.
Did he push it back 5 yards?
He may have picked up the ball and put it down.
Well, the center is out. Cangelosi, he brought that up.
13-yard line.
And kudos to Chase Cangelosi and Carter Hanberry. They were both finalists for Dutchtown Student of the Year, 2 seniors, football players that made the top 10. That's outstanding.
You know, that's a couple years in a row because last year Dixon Agu was in that running, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
A.K. Burrell was in that running.
And the pass right there on 3rd down was behind the intended receiver. Had a chance, but it just went a little bit behind as we look at the replay. And that was going to number 8, Drew Reneker.
Jeff, couple notes that I got from Coach Mastretta. You're talking about 2 Student of the Year finalists, but 2 years ago the NFF Coaches Association began presenting an academic excellence award to high-achieving teams throughout the nation based on both academic and on-the-field success. And I'll get back to that after this 4th down play.
Quarterback knocked away. So it's going to be South Lafourche ball. Tell us what you got.
Dutchtown's been named state champion in both years. Last year, team GPA 3.27, with 12 of 23 seniors being named to Academic All-State. 61 of 94 players named to the honor roll. Miss Simmons, as Coach Mastretta says, his second hire is in charge of taking care of that, tracking grades, tutoring sessions, etc. This year, 13 of 22 players being honored as Academic All-State with a 3.5 cumulative GPA or better over their career. So Dutchtown High doing it on both sides. I say both sides. Between the lines.
Yep. And Guy Mastretta proud of his team tonight. as we're halfway through the fourth quarter, as Dutchtown is going to get the victory as we're in running time right now. Pass complete to number 13. That's Camden Bird. If we can take a look at the South Lafourche schedule, we can talk about what they've done this season.
Corey Cotton on the tackle.
As they got 5-4 on the regular season, and they had a couple of nice wins. They beat Central Lafourche, a 5A school, 48-14. Had a big win against Morgan City. Beat Ellender 50-7. So they've got some big wins point-wise on their schedule. So they've looked good. And you have a pass that is complete, close to another first down. Of course, that's a tough district to play in because you have Assumption and Lutcher. And you look at Assumption; they are a top 5 team in 4A or in Division II non-select, 48-41.
And I would tell you, while you lose that game, Jeff, you lose the Lutcher 42-0, and then you come back and play the eventual district champion in Assumption and put up 41.
Yep.
And so that was, hey, they got on a roll after that, and they scored 35, 21, and 50 offensively. That just speaks kudos to Coach Harrow and the job that the defensive staff has done, Coach Talley.
Yep. And over the last 5 years for South Lafourche, you're going to look at what they've done in the playoffs, and they've missed the playoffs 3 of the last 5 seasons. So this is an accomplishment, getting back into the postseason. Their last appearance was in 2021, and then also 2019.
Well, you're building a little bit. You came in 4-4. That was the first. I think Young's first year was the 2020 season. And of course 5-4 this year.
Ball on the ground, and I think that Rents came up with it.
That 2-8 season that they had last year was still probably remnants of the hurricane.
Yep. And it's Dutchtown ball, as you see. Just couldn't get it to Dardar, and Rents came in. As now that Dutchtown has the ball, let's look at their last 5 seasons. And a little bit more success as they've won. This is going to be 3 wins in the bi-district round in the last 4 years. So progress for Guy Mastretta. As you see, they made regionals last season as they beat Parkway, and then in 2020 they beat Terrebonne. But in the other years they weren't able to advance past the first round. So this is progress for Dutchtown as well.
I think Dutchtown, maybe it was 17 guys first year was it Slidell?
Yeah, that comeback win where it was, I believe, 21-0.
First round of the playoffs right there. And one playoff win was against Mason Smith.
Yep. They dominated them.
That was Lafourche team?
No, that's Terrebonne.
Terrebonne.
Yeah. That's my neck of the woods in the Terrebonne Parish. 1st and 10. Champagne got to get it to Woodward. Not much. And we talked about it, the scrappiness. They're still scrappy out there. And their second and third string are coming in, and just they've done a good job not giving up points in this fourth quarter because the ball has been on this side of the field for the entire quarter.
Yeah. Once again, when seasons end, you're always going to lose your seniors. But this year with Dutchtown team, and Prairieville High opening in August, you don't know the number that this football team will have. So they're enjoying this time tonight to play together.
Yep. And there's another handoff for a short gain, as that's number 31, Aiden Langevin, another running back in the game. So Dutchtown next week will either play at home against Chalmette or on the road against Ponchatoula. If the game over there in Chalmette stays as is, it would be a road game against Ponchatoula. But if Dutchtown could win that game, that could possibly set up a home game in the quarterfinals, which is exactly where you want to be day after Thanksgiving. Would only be the 4th appearance if they could make it one more round. And Neal for Champaign. But this has been a great night for Ascension Parish football. Santa Maria looks like they're going to get the win. Dutchtown is about to close out their win. But I want to thank everybody from South Lafourche who watched this game tonight, as they don't have to snap the ball again. But thanks to everybody who watched from South Lafourche. And we're going to, as they wrap things up and shake hands, we're going to come back and wrap things up one final time. But we'll take a break right now. 42-0 is our final score. As you see, Guy Mastretta shaking hands with everybody. Let's take a break. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.
The athletic training staff of Dutchtown High School would like to thank SEC Heating and Cooling, Hollis Orthodontics, Tata Law Firm, Raising Cane's in Prairieville, Ross Downing GMC, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Foundation for their support of our sports medicine program.
So final score, Dutchtown 42, South Lafourche 0. Dutchtown will play next week, whether it's at home or the road. We'll find out later. But there will be football next week with Ascension Parish teams.
More season team won tonight on Veterans Day.
There you go.
Shout out to the veterans. Appreciate you.
So, yes, indeed. As Dutchtown, we'll figure out if we're going to be covering them in Ponchatoula or at home against Chalmette. But that's going to wrap things up for tonight. So thanks a lot, Lyle Boudreau, Andre Chapoy, and Patrick Email. For everybody, I'm Jeff Porsche. Thank y'all. Have a good night. You're watching the Rev Game of the Week.